Hey guys, it's Chris here, and I just wanted to record a quick video to show you how to set up bricks with a variable font. So this is actually a pretty neat little video, and I think it's going to be very helpful for you in order to just make it easier to build a website and to also reduce the page weight of a website because you're not loading multiple fonts. And the variable font size of the file size is generally pretty small. So I'm going to show you the process here. It's pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. The first thing that you're going to want to do is going to go to this website here, Font Web Loader. That's the URL here as well. So you can just maybe bookmark that. And what you want to do is just look for any Google font in here, at least look for one that's got a variable font weight to it. Open Sans is a good example of that. I think there's like Nunito might have variable fonts, so just look for them. You'll see this has a variable font here as well. But any font in here, I think most Google fonts these days will have a variable font weight version. But what you want to do here is just click on the download button. This is going to download it to your computer. I'm just going to save it in here for now. And what you want to do is, if you extract this, you're going to go in and grab, you're going to go into under the specific type, right? So that, for us, it's just going to be Latin. And then you're going to go in here and find the WAF2 files. Now, you'll see here the compressed size is 44 kilobytes, which is very small. And now if you have gzip and stuff like that on the server, this is probably going to be even smaller. You can basically use this one variable font weight file for pretty much all the different font variations that you need for this one font. There is also an italicized version. You don't necessarily need that. If you have a lot of italicized text in a design, then you may want to load both of these. But browsers these days, if you add an italics font style to some text and you don't have the appropriate italicized font or whatever, it's just going to do like a faux italics, right? Like it's going to do it like a simulated italics, and it does the trick for the most part. So as long as you're, depending on your needs, you may need to have both of these, but for the most part you can just use this one file here. So all you need to do is go into your website here, go into bricks, go into custom fonts, and you'll see I already have one in here. I called it Open Sans var for the variable, and you can go to, you'll just need to click on add new and create the font here, right? And then you'll need to add in your variations, and all you're going to do is when you add your variation here, you're going to go to where it says WAF2, and you're going to hit upload, and then you're going to just select that that WAF2 file that you got from that you downloaded. And you're going to do that for every one of these font weights. So I had to do this. I don't know if this is a bug in Bricks or not, but when I added multiple font weights and I hit update, it basically didn't save any of them. I had to do one at a time. So I had to do 100 and then go to 200, add the same thing, 300, hit update, go to 400, add the file, hit update, so on and so forth. So I had to do one at a time in order for it to add it in successfully. Now, one thing to note here is I actually put in 100 to 900, but the variable font weight or variable font file for Open Sans actually doesn't support 100 and 200. It only supports 300 to 800. If you want to know how to find out which font weights the font supports, I'll show you a tool that you can use here. So that tool is called wakamefondue.com. Now, just a quick kind of note here, I did not find this on my own. I was actually watching this video here by David Wamsley about self-hosting Google fonts and variable fonts. So if you want to watch that, this is the video here. But basically, if you click on pick a font here, and you open up the WAF2 file that you got from this tool, which also, by the way, this tool was in David's video. This will basically show you, if you go down here, you'll see here these are the font weights, and these are all the different weights that it supports, so 300 to 800. So in here, we really don't need the 100 and 200 or the 900. We can pretty much just get rid of those. So I will get rid of them from this site that I'm working on right now, but I just wanted to show you basically what the process is here. So now in terms of using them, I had a hard time finding resources on exactly how these variable fonts should be used, but it's a pretty straightforward process at this point. I've kind of did my own research to so I'll just save you the time essentially. If we're going in here, let me just kind of dock this off to the right here. So right now you'll see that what it's using here, let me just move my head down here, is it's using a font weight of 700. And so you don't have to change anything about your style sheets or how you code the font weights for a variable font. You can just use font weights. So if you change this to 600, you'll see that that changes. If you change this to 500, 400, 300, okay? The only caveat here is that this font weight will only use the registered font weights that are available. So by that I mean these, I don't remember what they called them. They called them instances or something, named instances. What these light, basically every tier, like the 100 tiers, like this, these are the only ones that will work, and only the ones that you've registered through bricks like this will allow you to change in font weight, in the font weight property. If you want to use the variable font weight, you have to use a different property. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and you can't do that inside of here. Like there's no way of changing this to say 550 or something in here, so you have to do it a different way. And even if you could change it to 550, I don't think that the font weight property will support that. You have to use the variable font sizing. So that's basically this CSS property here, font variation settings. The WGHT is basically just saying that you want to vary the font weight, and then this is the font weight number that you want to use. So this is, you can think of this as, all of this is basically the same thing as saying font weight. It is just the variable setting for it, and then this is the font weight number. So I have this class here that I created, var weight. So I'll just like save this here. I'm gonna load up the editor real quickly, and I'll show you basically if you just apply that class to something, you should get a font weight applied to that of 750. So I'll just grab, say, this here, for example, and I'll add the font weight here, and we'll save that, and we'll refresh. So now if you load up the front end here, you'll see the font has been increased, the font weight has been increased. We got the var weight class here, font variation settings, weight 750, and we can actually just play around with this and make it 720, 700, 650, 680, and you'll see that it changes all the while. And you can kind of increment this if you want and see it in action. So this font weight, so this font variation settings, attribute or CSS property, sorry, will override the base font weight that's assigned to that element. So if, for example, you set this to font weight 600, you'll see that the font variation actually overrides the font weight. So if we take away the 490 here, you'll see that it goes up to 600. If we check the font variation settings, it goes back to 490. So you can just leave your style sheets alone. Let the font weight, the basic font weight settings in your style sheets do the heavy lifting for the most part. And then if you ever need something very specific, like a very specific font weight for something in the design, then you can just override the font weight with font variation settings like this and get the exact weight that you need. And all of this, it comes at the benefit of only having one font file that is loaded. So if we refresh here, you'll see Open Sans here, the only font that I loaded through custom fonts, right? It's all of those font weights are using the same file, so that it only requests it one time, and so you get to save on the page weight and only load this one item here. So I can't remember how to check the exact compressed size of this, but it should be fairly low. I mean, it's basically just one font file, so this will definitely be a lot smaller than loading individual fonts. So hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Cheers.